In this video, we'll be talking about the various muscular spaces and their contents. So let's first orient ourselves to the muscles. So this is the right side of the back, and we see this triangular bone over here. So this is the scapula. This is the spinous process of the scapula, or present on the dorsum of the scapula. So the muscle that is attached over the top of the spinous process is the supraspinatus muscle. This here is the infraspinatus muscle, and this over here is the teres major muscle. This over here is the teres minor muscle, and this is the triceps muscle, and this is the right sided humerus. So in total we have three spaces. So first space is this one, this small triangular space that you are seeing. So this small triangular space which is present in between the teres minor muscle, the teres major muscle, and the triceps muscle. So this is the teres minor, this is the teres major, and this is the triceps muscle. And the small triangular space that you are seeing, this small triangular space is the uh, upper triangular space. Now we have one quadrangular space. So this is again the teres minor, this is the teres major, this is the triceps, and this is the humerus. So one quadrangular space is formed over here. You can see this quadrangular space. So this is known as the quadrangular space itself. And then we have the third space, which is present, uh, which is present in between the teres major. So this is forming the base of the triangle, and the two other sides of the triangle are being formed by this triceps muscle over here and this humerus. So this is the lower triangular space. The other triangular space that we saw was the upper triangular space. So this is the upper triangular space between teres minor, teres major, and triceps, and this is the lower triangular space between the teres major, the triceps, and the humerus. Now we will see the contents of the various spaces. So we can see that if I ask you a question that which of these three spaces is present in closest contact with the medial aspect of the scapula, like this is the medial aspect of the scapula, and if I ask you which is the closest, so this is the upper triangular space over here, this is the quadrangular space, and this is the lower triangular space. So obviously the upper triangular space is present closest to the medial aspect of the scapula. So obviously we would expect that if a vessel is to go to the medial aspect of the scapula, then it would like to enter through the upper triangular space so that it has to traverse less distance. So this is what is the content of the upper triangular space. So the content of the upper triangular space is the circumflex scapular vessel. And what gives off the circumflex scapular vessel? The circumflex scapular artery is given off by the subscapular artery, which is a branch of axillary artery. So I'll try showing you the circumflex scapular vessel. So this over here is the circumflex scapular artery. Actually in this model it has not been shown coming out through this space, but actually it does come out through this space. So you can imagine this artery coming out through this space and winding over the medial aspect of the scapula. So this is the circumflex scapular vessel. Now we will see the contents of the other space. Now we see the content of the upper quadrangular space. Sorry, the quadrangular space. There's not any prefix like upper or lower. So let's see the contents of the quadrangular space. Now we will apply our logical, we will try to put in some logic over here so as to remember as to what the content could be. So now if I ask you that among the upper triangular space, the lower triangular space, and the quadrangular space, which one is the closest to axilla and which one is the closest to the upper part of humerus? So obviously the answer is gonna be that the quadrangular space is the closest to axilla, and also it is closest to the upper part of humerus. So if a nerve is to go to axilla to supply sensory supply to the axilla, and to supply the other motor give other motor supply to various muscles, then it would like to come out through which of these spaces? So obviously it would like to come out this through the quadrangular space. So this nerve that we see coming out through the quadrangular space is the axillary nerve, and we know that one artery is given off from the third part of from the axillary artery, and then it winds around the posterior surface of the humerus. So this is known as posterior circumflex humeral artery. So the posterior circumflex humeral artery along with the axillary artery is the content of the quadrangular space, because obviously the quadrangular space is closest to the upper part of the humerus and the axilla. Now we will see the contents of the lower triangular space. Now if I ask you that where does the profunda brachial artery lie? So you will say that the profunda brachial artery lies it twists around the spiral groove present on the posterior surface of the humerus. So this is the humerus, and there's a spiral groove present somewhere over here. And what happens is that the brachial artery gives off a profunda brachial artery, which travels in the spiral groove and then descends down. So we can see this artery over here. This is the profunda brachial artery, and this is the spiral groove. And along with that, we can also see one nerve going over the posterior aspect of the humerus. Now if I ask you that which nerve lies on the posterior aspect of the humerus along the major motor nerves of the upper limb, is it the radial nerve, is it the median nerve, or is it the ulnar nerve? Then obviously the answer is going to be the radial nerve, because we know that it's the radial nerve which winds around the posterior surface of the humerus. So the radial nerve along with the profunda brachial artery is the content of the lower triangular space. So let's reiterate what we have just discussed in these few minutes. So this is the upper triangular space lying between teres minor muscle, the teres major muscle, and the triceps muscle. And since it's the medial most, so the circumflex scapular vessel will travel through this space. Now this is the quadrangular space present near to the axilla and to the upper surface of the humerus. So posterior circumflex humeral artery and axillary nerve will travel through this space, and it is present between teres minor, teres major, triceps and humerus. Since it is a quadrangular space that is having four sides, so it must be having four boundaries. And this is the lower triangular space present between teres major, the humerus, and the triceps muscle, and it's present close to the midshaft of the humerus, so it will give off radial nerve and profunda brachial artery. So this finishes our video. See you next time.